Okay, we're up to, again, the beginning of Perek Shlishi is telling us, again, rehashing the same thing. In Perek Beis, he gave us in Perek, I don't have enough copies out here. In Perek Beis, he told us the conditions that the one you're trusting in must have. Now we move to Perek Gimel. He tells us the preconditions, the qualities that you must have to be able to have bitachon. The first one is that you must believe in Perek Beis. You must believe that all these 7 things are found by Hashem. So he could have just said that. The first one is you must make sure that you believe all 7 are found by Hashem. But he doesn't. He reviews them, and as we pointed out last time, in a different order, generally. So we went through 5 of them, we have 2 left. V'hashishi, the 6th condition that you must believe is found by the Eibishter. Sheyeda Rav Tuv Elikim. This was number 7 in the previous order. You have to know how good Hashem is to people. No, not Hashem cares, because that was one of the earlier ones. But the fact that Hashem will do good automatically, whether you deserve it or not. That Hashem does with you, has always done with you. Hashem gives you roiv chesed v'toiva, much kindness and goodness, mibli sheyiyeh roy etzel lekach, without you having to deserve it. In other words, even if you don't deserve it, Hashem's still going to give it to you. V'loy l'tzoyrech sheyiyeh elav, and not because Hashem needs something from you. There's no reason other than Hashem gives. Teva hatoiv lehetiv. The nature of good is to do good. Hashem is kirachum v'chanun. Hashem makes sure to give everyone everything they need. Kasher beyarnu b'sha'ar haBitachon. We already explained this in one of the other sections of Chavis Halos. It's called Sha'ar haBitachon. Min haSefer hazeh. K'may she'amar David olav hashalom. Like David HaMelech says, Rabbois osisa ata Hashem Elikai, much you have done, Hashem my God, nifloisecha, your wonders, umachshavoisecha, and your thoughts, eleinu, to us, ein aroich, elecha agida v'adabeira, otzmu misaper. It's incomparable to speak, I will tell, otzmu misaper, is much more than I can say. So Hashem is the ultimate of good, does so much good for us. Nidava, maybe I skipped the words. Ach nidava v'toiva v'chesed. Hashem does it out of giving, kindness, good, and therefore we can expect it. Right? The only way we can have bitachon is to rely that Hashem is going to do it for us. If I'm always going to be worried I don't deserve it and it's not going to be good, then I'm not really having full bitachon. Therefore, one of the principles is that Hashem will do it no matter what. Ve'ashvi, the 7th and final one that we have to know, sheyizbarer etzlo, it should be clear to him, ki yesh l'chol ha'havoyos sheba'olam hazeh, all creations, all things, everything that happens in this world, b'olam hazeh, me'etzem umikra. Me'etzem means it's essentially there, and mikra means anything that happens. Now this was the 5th, number 5 in the original order in Perek Sheni. The idea that Hashem's experience, Hashem from the start is always there. Everything comes from Hashem. So that's what he says. You have to be clear that everything that happens in this world, whether me'etzem, etzem means that it's there on its own. It's there because it grows. And the way Hashem set up the world, this is what happens. Mikra is an occurrence. Something moves, changes, an order, a sequence of things for things to happen. Everything in Olam Hazeh has Gevul Yadua, has a boundary, a set time and place by the Eibishter for everything. Nothing happens on its own. And everything has exactly a set time. This is really the concept of Hashgacha Pratis. That's what he's saying. You have to believe that Hashem organizes. Everything comes from the Eibishter. It has a Gvul Yadua, a set boundary. Lo Yosef, lo Yigra, not more, not less. Al Mashagazar Aboyre Yizbarich, for what Hashem decreed should happen. Bikamusoy, in its how much, in time, in length, in quantity. Ve'echusoi, how valuable it is. It's what its makeup is, right? Kamusa is like how big it is, how small it is, how long it exists, how short it exists. Echo is what it is, the quality, what it's made up of. Zmanoi, the exact time. Umekoimoi, the exact place. Everything is set up by the Eibishter. Nothing happens on its own. Everything is organized exactly to the T. Now, really, this is all the concept of Hashgacha Pratis. Everything happens exactly where and when Hashem wants it to happen. One of the Mefarshim over here, Teva Lavanin, so he brings Derech Mashal. So he brings a mashal. It's a story of Hashgacha Pratis, but he brings it. So he says there was a ship, and they wanted to travel. 12 o'clock tomorrow. They made up tomorrow. At 12 o'clock, the ship is leaving. What happened before 12 o'clock, late in the day or early the next day? The governor decided that there's something wrong. He accused the shipmaster, the captain of something criminal, and he's going to look into him, arrest him, whatever. He held him up for a while of time, and finally he let him go. But meanwhile, during that day, 3 days that he held him up, a war broke out at sea. So the captain decided that he can't take the regular pathway through the ocean, so he went a different way, which wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been held up. But because he was held up, and now there's a war, he had to go a different way. He went a different way, he was unfamiliar with it. What happened? He knocked into some stones sticking out of the ocean, and down went the ship, and the people inside drowned. And there was a box full of treasures that was being delivered on the boat, and that started floating, and it carried it far away to some beach. And in that place, in a city near that beach where it landed, the governor made up something wrong about one of the Talmidei Chachamim that lived there, and he was going to come after him. Talmid Chacham ran away from the governor. Where did he run away to? The beach. And right when he came to the beach, boom, the box, treasure box, washed up. He found it, and he survived like that forever after. So it brings a story where so many details all came together to make sure that happened. Whether it was the governor accusing, whether the war broke out, they had to go a different way, they didn't break it. Everything worked exactly to the moment. Classic Hashgacha Pratis story. Ein marbe l'mashagozar b'miyutoi. You cannot make more to what Hashem decreed will be less. You can't make less what Hashem said will be more. You cannot make later something that Hashem wants to happen earlier. You cannot make happen earlier something that the Eibishter wants to happen later.
Does it mean like the actual words like Hashgacha Pratis and like that kind of thing? Or?
min advarim ala derech hazeh, anything that happens in this manner, when things suddenly happen, different, when something doesn't look like it's happening the way it usually happens. It changes a little bit than its nature. Hu hanigzar. It's because it's been decreed. Asher kodam b'tchilas hayidiyah. Hashem knows and wants everything to happen a specific way. Again, the only thing that is not is something that has to do with Torah mitzvahs, as he's going to say soon. That if it has to do with Torah mitzvahs, so if it's Yiras Shamayim, then it's not decreed by the Eibishter. Otherwise, it's all set up by the Eibishter. Everything that was decreed by the Eibishter, that it should happen a specific way, has causes. Sibois. And there's causes for that causes. Everything happens for a different reason. If you don't understand the way the world runs, a person can think, this new thing that happened, this weird, strange, miraculous occurrence that is different than usual, he could think, that's what's making things change. This sudden wind that blows, this hurricane wind, that's what's changing. And this shift that happens, he's going to bring an example. It's brought down, the Gemara, it's brought down that there was one seed that grew and a tremendous amount that grew from it. So it's strange, it's different. So you might think that this seed was extra powerful, something special about the seed, and therefore it created such a large produce. That's not normal. Because your typical seed is, it's this size and this much power, but this one was phenomenal. But that's forgetting the real cause. The real cause is the Eibishter. Hashkocha pratis, Pasha, that's all he's teaching you. V'hasiba chalusho nekala. The cause is not strong enough. You can't say that it's just the seed. You can't say that that's what changes it. That from it alone should create such a change. Kashanira, like we see. One kernel of wheat grows 300 stalks. Each stalk has 30 kernels. Little, what do you call them? Little kernels. So what happens is, one kernel grew 300 stalks. Each stalk had 30 kernels, so on and so forth. It ends up that one seed is siba, is a cause, la'aseres alofim, I carve them for 10,000, or a number close to that, of kernels. Haye olein, is it hidden? Ki koyach hagager chaloish me'asois kamozois zu. Do you not realize that one seed doesn't have the power and ability to do this? V'chein sha'ar agargim and Israel and tuim, all other seeds that are planted could create so much. It's not possible. It's all because the Eibishter decides it. That's the fifth one. That everything comes from the Eibishter. Essentially, Hashkocha pratis. V'chein noimar b'avayas adam u'shar hachayim mitipas hazera. Same thing you can talk about a person, all other living beings that are created from a little drop of seed that produces such a large creation. How could that be? Likewise, a creation of a huge, large fish that comes from the tiny fish eggs. Fish eggs are notoriously tiny, really, really small. And from this tiny, tiny fish egg comes this humongous fish. It matches. It makes sense. It's natural. Natural because that's the way Hashem set it up. But it's not like it has its own strength, its own ability to do that. Now, when you recognize this principle that everything comes from the Eibishter, you come to the following conclusion: V'tirdas hanefesh, the yach, the burden on a person. Lahaktim ma'she'echer haborisal. We try to make what Hashem wants to happen later. We try to make it earlier. I need it now. Ich will the Geld jetzt. I want it now. I'm going to make sure it happens now. Hashem wants it to happen later. La'acher mashihiktim, or something that Hashem wanted to happen now, and you want to push it off. No, it shouldn't happen now. Lahar bais mashihimit. Hashem decided it's going to be a little, and you decided you're going to make it a lot. Lahamit mashihir be'er. Hashem wants a lot, and you're going to make a little. All of these changes, right? If you come to the belief and conclusion that everything's hashgacha, then you recognize you want to change it. Mikinyonei ha'olam, from the things of this world. And he adds in, almost like in the brackets, Mibli sabe bel kiyum mitzvah savidasu v'kiyum Torah. So without it having a connection to doing mitzvahs and Torah, because if it has a connection to doing Torah mitzvahs, guess what? You do have the power. Because that the Eibishter gave to us free choice. When it's Torah mitzvahs, you can push off and doing the mitzvah later. You can do it earlier, you can do more, you can do less. That you have a reason to control it. Your control is because that's what the Eibishter gave you. But everything else comes strictly from the Eibishter. Chalishus HaKorav, you think. That's like in parentheses. So he said, Tirdas HaNefesh, that the person should be so burdened and put in so much effort to try to change things. Chalishus HaKorav. He's lacking the recognition Ba'amitis Yidiyasai, in the true knowledge of Hashem. B'sichlos mehavin toivas hanagasa. He's foolish from understanding the way Hashem really runs things. So if you recognize the way Hashem runs, hashgacha pratis, you recognize that you're wasting your time. You want to make things different. You know how you make things different? You daven to the Eibishter. You do what Hashem wants. Because at the end of the day, it's all up to the Eibishter. You're going to make yourself crazy to try to change something without really having the power to do to make a difference. The Rabbi brings a mashal with the siches, where, for example, someone wants to make a lot of money, so he spends his time making wallets. He makes a lot of wallets that are going to hold all the money that he's going to get, and he does nothing to actually make that he should get more money. He's just holding all the wallets. He's just making wallets that are going to hold the money. Same thing here. By putting so much effort into the keli, into work, and into olam hazeh to make things work out exactly as you want them to, that's like creating wallets. Because at the end of the day, everything is done by the Eibishter. Your focus shouldn't be on making the wallet, it should be making the money. Your focus shouldn't be on all the things that you're doing to try to change the way you want things. Your focus should be on doing what the Eibishter wants, davening, learning, Torah mitzvahs, because that is the real potential of having things shift. Shlomo HaMelech already hinted to this concept in Koheles when he said a very famous statement. He says, Lakol Zman. Everything has its time. Ve'es l'chol chayfetz. And a time for every object. Tachas hashamayim. Tachas hashamayim. That which is below the heavens. So for things that are tachas hashamayim, lakol zman veis l'chol chayfetz. The lakol zman veis l'chol chayfetz. Again, one of the interesting explanations is zman is lezamein. What is lezamein? Zimun, to set it up, to designate it, to prepare it. Lahazmin is to invite. The person should come. So zman means to prepare it. For the future, lakol. Lakol zman. For the future, everything has a set time. The ace comes from the word ata. Ata, ayin, taf, hey. And now, the ace, so that's zman, lakol zman, ve'ace l'chol chayfetz. Present, future, it's all up to the Eibishter. Tachas hashemayim. But only things that are under the heaven. Things that are above the heaven are not limited to time. What's above the heaven, according to this explanation? Torah mitzvahs. That's by the Eibishter. But that's where it comes from. It's higher than Gashmias Olam Hazeh. That's why a tzaddik has the ability to change what happens. Why? Because he's higher than Shamayim. He's Tigzer. What's the pasuk? Tigzer Eimer Vayakum. He decides. He says, and that's what happens. One of the Svarim writes that tzaddik is also called Ishu Elikim. Ishu Elikim. Godly man. It's a simple meaning. But they explain Ish means strong, powerful, like in charge. Ishu. Elikim says in the Friedkevers HaMarim, a few of them. Elikim is a gematria. Hateva, nature. Elikim is nature. Ishu Elikim means a man who controls Teva. A tzaddik controls Teva. The Eibishter sets up Kol Zman Veis L'Chol Chayfetz V'Acher Kach Zocher Mehem, and then he actually lists Esrim U'Shmoina Inyanim. In Koheles he lists 28 designated times. There's Eis Loledes, Eis Lamos, Eis to be born, a time to die. Adamar Eis Melchama, Eis Shalom, a time of war, a time of peace. V'amar ki Eis Pega Igres Kulam, time will catch everyone. V'amar ki Gvoyim al Gvoyim Shomer, Gvoyim Aleim, higher and higher is the Shomer, the Shmira. Everything has a set time. The bottom line is, number 7, is that the Eibishter is running everything, has always been running everything, and you have to recognize that. The way Hashem runs things, are much deeper, hidden, higher, than being able to recognize even part of them. Kolshkein Klol, and certainly all of it. It's beyond our ability to know the ways of Hashem. Like it says, Ki govu shamayim me'aretz, just like the heavens is higher than the earth. Kin govu derachai midarchechem machshavoisayim machshavoisechem. Hashem's ways are above us. His thoughts are above us. We cannot comprehend and follow the ways of Hashem. Okay, so remember we said there's 5 hakdamis, 5 things that we need to really make part of us to be able to have haBitachon. This is already teaching us, right? This is like, you got to believe this. So first and foremost, first hakdama is, all these 7 things make a lot of sense. Ashkacha pratis. Who doesn't believe in Ashkacha pratis? But you need to make these things real. So all of these 7 things that he said that you have to acknowledge. I don't know if I should use the word believe. You have to acknowledge that they are absolute. So you need to reach a level where they are absolute by you. Not you shake your head and you say, yeah, this is the way it is. You have to derher the Indian of Ashkacha pratis. And you have to understand the Eibishter is going to give no matter what, deserving or not. The Eibishter is chazak, all powerful. There's nothing that can get in the way of the Eibishter. The Eibishter knows everything. The Eibishter cares. The Eibishter is involved. All of these things you have to believe. First and foremost, that the Eibishter cares about a Yid. The Eibishter is here together with us. Like we said before, Hini Hashem nitzav alav. Hashem's there with us, helping us. So you got to believe all these 7 things. Next, Hakdama Hashenis, the second introduction that you have to know is Sheyeda v'yizbarer etzloi. Hakdama Hashenis. Yudzayin, paragraph Yudzayin, still have it there now. Hakdama Hashenis, I think he uses the same lashon. So again, just in the first line of this Perek, he says, Hakdamais asher bibeiruran va'amitasan, with their clarity and truth. It has to be that Yamin v'yizbarer etzloi. It has to be not just like a sefer we're reading and okay, Shchein gelernt and that's it. Now I have to have bitachon. These are things that we have to work on and make them part of us. So he says here again, sheyeda, he has to know v'yizbarer etzloi. It has to be clear to him. Ki aboyre yizbarech mashkif alav. Hashem's watching you. Hashem's looking. Ein nelam mimenu. There is nothing hidden from the Eibishter. Niglehu, you're outside, what's revealed. Vinistorei, and even what's inside you. Things that you're thinking, things that you're feeling. The Eibishter knows it all. Tzfunoi, vinireyu, what's deep inside, what's visible. V'im bitchoinoi belekov belev shalom imloi. Hashem knows if you really trust Him. Hashem knows if your trust in Hashem is with a complete heart, imloi or not. Kasher Omar HaKosev Hashem yoideya machshevois adam. Hashem knows the thoughts of man, kihei mahaval, that they are nothing. You can't trick the Eibishter. You can't say I have bitachon because you put on a show of having bitachon. The Eibishter knows your level of bitachon. Hashem knows, comprehends, gets the inside of a person's heart. You alone know what's going on in the heart of a person. It's not just external. We human beings can put on a good show. We can speak the speak. We can walk the walk sometimes, we can do it, but the real question is, what's inside? What do you really believe? And we have to recognize that other human beings you might be able to fool, but not the Eibishter. If you remember the story, the Rabbi brings it in the Sicha, the Chassid who went to the Tzemach Tzedek, his child wasn't well, and he asked the Tzemach Tzedek what to do. What did Tzemach Tzedek tell him? Famous words, Trach gut v'zayin gut. Notice, the Tzemach Tzedek didn't tell him to red gut. Red gut means speak good. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Mirz Hashem, it's going to work out. He asks you, how's it going to be? Mirz Hashem, it's going to be the best. Mirz Hashem, Mirz Hashem. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. You know, people sometimes talk themselves into believing it. It's not a bad thing. At least start with that. But talking it doesn't really mean that you believe it. That's the word tracht gut. If you actually think it, then you know it's real. Trach gut v'zayin gut. The thinking good, then it'll be good. Because the Eibishter knows b'pnimi nafshay what we're thinking and what we're feeling. Ukeshiyizbarer zel haBitachon. And when this is clear, you can't turn around and say to the Eibishter, listen, I trusted in you and you didn't do it. Or I was doing this and you didn't. You know, inside you is what counts. Ein roi loy litoin. It's not fitting for him to say, he trusts the Eibishter. He relies fully on the Eibishter. Just going to do two more lines. Bidiburoi. With his words. He's walking around speaking about bitachon. You can't claim that's your bitachon. Mibli sheyiftach Allah b'liboy u'b'matzpunoi. Without really believing it in your heart and in his depth. The yiyeh b'malas mishanemar aleim. Because if he does, he will then be in the level of someone that it says concerning this person, Bifiv ubisvasav kibduni, with his mouth and his lips he honored me, v'liboy richak mimeni, but his heart was far away. That's what Hashem says. So we can act like it, but not really be it. Now, you have to understand that this level of bitachon, to truly, truly believe it, there's many levels of it, and the highest level is phenomenal. But especially the way the Rebbe explains it, the idea of bitachon is not only that whatever Hashem does is for the good, but that I know it's going to be good, b'tov v'nira v'nigla. And the vart that the Rebbe says is bitachon is so strong that if someone actually has bitachon, it will change. The bitachon alone will make it good. I don't know if I mentioned this before, so much so that the Rebbe brings in the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov writes that sometimes, you know how hard in the Sikha, the Rebbe says sometimes, again, we can't just say it every time, but sometimes if the Eibishter wants to bring something not good to happen to a tzaddik, the Eibishter takes away from them the ability to have bitachon. It's all part of, in order to make sure this happens, Hashem takes away from them, whatever, takes away from them the ability to have bitachon. Why? Because if they would have bitachon, there's a promise, haBitachon, chesed yisei v'venu, bitachon, it's all going to be good. So, and if Hashem wants that it shouldn't be, so Hashem must take away the bitachon. But this level of bitachon that you can say to the Eibishter, I had bitachon, no, let's see it. That is a bitachon, not that you speak with bitachon, but that you believe and live with bitachon, internally, deeply permeated with bitachon. Then, that level of bitachon, this is again what the Rebbe says in the Sikha, how could it be that someone who doesn't deserve it, he did Averis, how could he expect that because he has bitachon, or how could he have bitachon to expect that it's going to be good if he knows he doesn't deserve it? And the answer is the bitachon alone makes him deserve it. The Eibishter says you went out of yourself, you went beyond what you could naturally do. You had a bitachon that makes no sense. Hashem mida keneged mida reciprocates with something that doesn't make sense. Even though al pi teva it shouldn't work out, but the Eibishter gives it, changes what's going to happen just because of bitachon. But a person has to realize that level of bitachon is a deep bitachon, not just speaking it. So that's the second thing. The first thing is to believe that everything, the Eibishter has all these points. And the second one is the Eibishter knows you through and through. There's no hiding or pretending or running away somewhere and locking yourself in a room and doing what you want. You can hide from people. You can't hide from the Eibishter. He knows through and through. That's the second point. And there's three more, which I guess we'll do next time, Mirz Hashem.